This is Fashion Fridays. Every Friday we present you with a fashion icon or topic. Today we're looking at 15 things you didn't know about Panerai. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Hello, Aluxers. Today we're going to talk about Panerai, the global giant wristwatch brand that's been around for over 150 years. These timeless pieces of art are coveted by successful people all over the world. An Italian luxury watch brand, Panerai is synonymous with success and elegance. Giovanni Panerai founded the company in Florence, Italy back in 1860. The company is most famous for their Lumen and Radiomir wristwatches. All Panerai watches are designed and manufactured by Rolex SA. If you're new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Alux. But let's just cut to the chase, shall we? And get to the 15 things you didn't know about Panerai. Number 1. The company was founded in Florence, Italy in 1860. Panerai was founded by Giovanni Panerai in 1860 in Florence, Italy. Today, it is still headquartered in Firenze, although its watches are manufactured in Switzerland. Stores and outlets worldwide retail these pieces of pure instruments of precision and art. Their most notable designs are the Panerai Lumen and Panerai Radiomir series. Today, Panerai is a fully owned subsidiary of Compagnie Financière Richemont SA. Number 2. It was the founder's grandson, Guido Panerai, who made the company so successful. After Giovanni established his first watch store in 1860, it was his grandson, Guido Panerai, who was instrumental in channeling it to the level of success it enjoys today. Expanding the watch store Orologeria Svizzera and merging it with his wife's family business of operating a mechanical workshop, Guido forged a whole new entity, naming it G. Panerai e Figlio. Number 3. Panerai was one of the first watchmakers to design diving watches. G. Panerai Figlio supplied technical equipment along with precision instruments to the Royal Italian Navy, a turn of events that contributed hugely to its eventual success. With the exception of GPF 256, is considered to be instrumental in designing and manufacturing their watches. Hans Wilsdorf of Rolex SA and Giuseppe are credited with manufacturing the world's first instruments for professional diving. Between 1938 and 1970, they supplied almost 1,600 watches to the Italian Marina Militare and Egyptian Navy. However, over time, realizing the profits were not coming in, and neither were the watches meeting the required specifications of the Navy, the watch company moved to the lucrative civilian market. Following its acquisition by the Richemont Group, it established itself as a luxury brand with an increase in prices. Number 4. Panerai designed the Lumen 1950 specifically to signify the end of World War II. The Lumen base logo PAM00000 is for the collector who loves gathering things of historical significance. Manufactured in 1950, the serial number bearing 5 zeros itself is enough to grab attention. The Lumen 1950 was manufactured when the Second World War ended. In fact, it is a pleasant surprise that this cool watch, with its distinctly identifiable black strap, a sapphire adorning the face, and brushed steel surrounding to afford durability, costs just $5,000. We really thought it would be a little more. Number 5. Panerai doesn't display the prices of its wristwatches. Someone has to lead the pack. When it comes to Panerai watches, some of the biggest sellers are the most expensive. In fact, the Lumen 1950 outsells the Radiomir, despite its price tag of $165,000. However, the interesting thing is, the Lumen 1950 outsells the Radiomir PAM00021, even with a price tag that reads, "Price unknown." Not too bad for a $5,000 pick, don't you think? Number 6. Their products go through rigorous testing processes. If every single one of the Panerai watches that has made it to the retailers could speak, it would have an amazing story to tell. Every one of them is like a soldier that's made it alive to the end of the battle. The watches are put through months of age testing processes to stimulate 3 decades of wear and tear to ensure they can withstand the rigors of time. The testing is done in individualistic climate-controlled chambers with a variable temperature setting from anywhere between minus 45 degrees to 90 degrees Celsius. There's basically nothing you can possibly do to damage your Panerai watch, absolutely nothing that it hasn't already gone through and survived before eventually making its way to your wrist. Number 7. Panerai watches are so durable, one actually dented a steel plate during testing. Did you know that a Panerai watch actually dented a steel plate it was dropped on during a routine test? Unbelievable, but definitely true. During one of the factory tests in 1955, a watch in the BMG series was dropped onto a steel plate, as opposed to a wooden block from the requisite height of 1 meter. The watch astonishingly remained intact, whereas the steel plate it fell on had a dent on it as the standing testimony to the incredible durability of these watches. Number 8. Panerai is very strict when it comes to perfection during manufacturing. Right from its inception to the final stages of manufacturing each Panerai watch, it has to prove its worth and make it to the next stage in production. During the manufacturing process, each watch is equipped with radio frequency identification, or an RFID chip, to record its test outcomes. These actual precision test results are at the end, printed out on a specific page in the watch's accompanying booklet. It is impossible to print the booklet if the required precision hasn't been achieved. In the event of this happening, the watch will never make it to the shops or any of Panerai's super elite customers. Number 9. Panerai joined with Ferrari Union to develop a luxury watch brand. It was an alliance that came with a lot of promise. Some might say it was even a match made in heaven. The Italian luxury car brand with the Italian luxury watch brand. Sadly, like many high-profile relationships, it didn't last. When Ferrari teamed up with Panerai in 2005, it was almost as if everyone had expected it. 2 luxury brands teaming up with another for a premium combination. So, the designer watches came out with the logo and the moniker of the famous stallion inscribed on it. However, did you know that Panerai didn't even want to enter into such a deal with Ferrari in the first place? It was simply pressured to do so by the Richest Group. Number 10. The most expensive Panerai watch is the Kampfschwimmer, which costs $1 million. The most exclusive watch ever made by Panerai was the Kampfschwimmer. They only made a few dozen of these. For watch collectors, finding a Kampfschwimmer was like hitting the mother lode. The watch case is designed by Panerai, but the actual movements and mechanisms are designed by Rolex. Number 11. Sylvester Stallone bought a Panerai watch back in 1995 while traveling in Rome. Sylvester Stallone's association with Panerai started in Rome back in 1995 while he was, guess what, window shopping. The superstar chanced upon a Panerai Luminor in a jewelry store window, and history was made at that precise moment. He immediately bought one to wear on the set of his movie Daylight, which was filming at the time. The star was so impressed by its superior features, he went right back and ordered 200 limited edition watches called Slytech, bearing his signature on the back. However, he eventually got just 15 of them, and keeping but 2 of them, which he possesses even today, giving the rest away as gifts. Number 12. Panerai are no longer limited to soldiers. The Panerai Daylight edition of watches introduced wristwatches bearing big faces to the fashion scene. They were introduced to the public in 1993. Earlier, the designs were only worn and preferred by Marines, Top Guns, and military officials on account of its functionality. With a watch face ranging up to 47 millimeters, which is Panerai's largest to date, what once graced the wrists of soldiers can also be seen peeking out of cuffs on today's fashion elite. Number 13. The Panerai is the first choice for many celebrities. The hefty price tag attached to Panerai watches is what makes it such a premium choice for those who've made it in life. Famous personalities like Bill Clinton, Josh Hartnett, Dwayne Johnson, and Ben Affleck, among several others, have sported these coveted items on several occasions. Let us just say that if you have found fame and glory, there's no better way to subtly make that statement than by wearing a Panerai watch. Number 14. Panerai is so desirable because of its exclusivity. What makes a Panerai watch so desirable is its exclusivity. The simple fact they are limited editions makes it exclusive, which in turn adds to its allure. The company releases a fixed number of limited edition watches each year, with the series number on the back. Panerai watches have reinvented the wheel, growing from a company that prepared the first professional watch for divers to see better underwater to the fashion statement it is today. The watches are distributed over 4 marketing lines, namely manufacture, historic, and contemporary in numbers of 500, 1,000, 2,000, and 4,000 units. Number 15. Panerai is now worth almost $55 billion. A simple dream by a small Florentine watchmaker whose only intention was to make precision time-telling instruments has grown into a behemoth enterprise worth $54.5 billion. Its chairman, South African Johan Rupert, is the wealthiest Swiss watchmaker today, with a net worth himself of over $4.75 billion. A humble watchmaker's dream has indeed come a long way. Panerai took the ordinary wristwatch, added in some brilliant Italian thinking and Swiss technology, and has given the world something every living person would love to own. Nothing spells success like a Panerai wristwatch on your arm. If you hadn't heard of Panerai before today, we bet after hearing these facts, you'll never be able to cross the threshold of a luxury brand watch store without the name Panerai coming to your mind. So, how much would you pay for a wristwatch, Aluxers? We're curious. Let us know in the comments. And of course, for sticking with us all the way to the end, here's your bonus. Number 16. The early watches made by Panerai were actually made with toxic materials. As we said before, Panerai made watches for the military. They needed the faces to glow so they could see them in the dark and underwater. The chemicals they used to make the watch faces glow was actually toxic and very dangerous. The watches were radioactive. Despite their toxicity, though, people still pay good money to get their hands on these watches today. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxers. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos, which we recommend you watch next. Thank you for being an Aluxer, and we'll see you back tomorrow.